Hi guys, this is going to be probably a more technical tutorial than I've ever done before, so bear with me here. This is not something I normally do, and if you have questions about it, you probably are going to have better luck asking ChatGPT or something, because this is definitely not my realm of expertise. But I got some questions about my Bible study in Notion template. You can access the web Bible directly through Notion, and I was going to show you guys how I got those files into Notion so that you can use it for your own purposes. So if you use maybe Obsidian instead, or if you just want to have like a markdown version of a different version of the Bible, this is going to be how you do it. So I will link to the GitHub that this is actually from down below, because if there's updates or if you're watching this video much later in the future, there's obviously going to be new things. But I'm just going to walk you through how to do this. I am on a Mac, so this will be Mac specific, but again, I'll link to GitHub down below. And then I'm also going to do a step-by-step in the description so you can follow along. If you've never used GitHub before, hopefully this will help you out a bit. So what we're going to basically do is set up some scripts, so using some code to tell our computer to pull information from BibleGateway.com and convert it into a Markdown format. So there's a lot of things that are going to go into it. If you are on a Mac, 𝗰𝗵 will automatically be installed, but we're going to check what version we have just to make sure it's installed properly. And then we are going to choose the options for how we want to download the web Bible, and then we will move it into Obsidian. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is open up the terminal. You can do this by going to your applications. I am using just my shortcut to open up my terminal. So we are going to first check if 𝗰𝗵 is actually installed on here. If you've never used terminal before or done any kind of coding, it should be on here. So I'm just going to do 𝗰𝗵-version to make sure that it's actually installed, and it is. If it is not installed, you'll need to look up how to get that installed and what version you should be installing. It'll all be in the terminal like this, and you'll just need to do that first. Next up, we're going to install the 𝗰𝗵 gems, which is basically some additional scripting that will help the computer know what to do. So this is going to be step 2. We're going to install the gems. It is going to ask for a password. This is your computer password. So as you start to type, it's not going to show up on screen, but just type your computer password as you would if you were making any setting changes, and then it'll take a moment to process these. It's going to look like nothing is happening. That just means it is loading. Just be patient. So we have the colorized gem installed, but there's more to be installed. If you don't see your name and your Mac name, it's not done yet. So be patient. Okay, now it is complete because again, we can see my name and my Mac name. Next thing we're going to do is install the base scripture script, which basically will convert the website into an actual text that we can copy. So this is going to be step number 3. We see our name and computer name again, so we're going to move on to step number 4, which is going to be downloading the Obsidian script. This will adapt it to a markdown format. Okay, step 4 is done. So now we're going to set up our directory. This is going to be all of the files the script will need to reference while it's doing the download. Okay, step 5 is done, and really quickly I'm going to show you in my Finder here what we are working with. So if I go to my name, this is my directory. Let's clean this up. You should see some new folders in here. We have some script zip files. We have the Bible download folder, Bible Gateway to Markdown, and Bible Gateway to Obsidian. These are where all of the different scripts are being stored to actually make this process work. Now this is the part we're going to customize it. So you are going to do step number 6, but you can see all these dash letters at the end. These are going to be for you to customize. So I am showing -I. That will show the progress of the download so that we can see it actually loading and make sure everything's working properly. -A is going to add in some YAML formatting. I use YAML in Obsidian, so that is the text at the top that basically will tell us some information about the text. And then -Y does the same thing. It's going to add some navigation into YAML so you can click back and forth between the scripture pages in Obsidian. And then -E is going to have the titles in the text aligned itself. You can add a -V and then some brackets to specify what version you want to use, like ESV, for example. However, you need to check the licensing and the copyright rules around different versions that you want to download. By default, it's going to download the web version. So if we don't type anything, it'll just be the web version, which is what I used in Notion, and that is a free public domain version that you are allowed to download, and the copyright is open for that. So just check that before you download anything that you're not supposed to. So once we're done here, I'm going to hit enter. It's going to ask if we want to continue. You will do number 1 for yes, that's understanding copyright licensing, and then hit enter again. And now we can see the progress of our chapters being downloaded. And if we open up our Finder window, we should be able to now see this happening. So if we open up Bible download, we can see the Bible web folder, and you can actually see this Markdown folder being updated live. So let's open this up and look in like Leviticus, for example, and we can see the Markdown files are being added to the folder. So this will obviously take a while. We're downloading all of the books of the Bible. I'm going to actually terminate this because I already have them downloaded in my Obsidian. But now let's assume that you went ahead and downloaded all of them and they are now in this folder. There are a couple different options for how you can do this. So first off, you can drag the Bible web, this folder, into your Obsidian folder, and then that will just be like a folder within Obsidian, just like any other folder that you've created. You can also just drag all of the books in there. So if you are only using it for Bible study, or you already have a folder you want it in, you could do that. Or if you wanted to do something like use Notion, for example, you will need to convert it. So you will need to import these as Markdown files into Notion, which is exactly how we got the web version into Notion in the first place. So yeah, this is how you do it. It's really simple with these scripts, so shout out to the wonderful people who did this GitHub and made this possible. Hopefully this was helpful for you. I know that this has completely changed how I do my Bible studies online. If this is something that is completely out of your realm and now that you're watching it, you're like, oh goodness, no, I'm not going to do this, I want to suggest the app 𝗏𝗏𝗏. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 is basically a Bible study dashboard that is really meant exactly for how the Notion webpage is being used. And I will link to my Notion template in the description box if you're interested about that. But you can download a ton of books, different versions of the Bible, tools, resources, commentaries, and add them to your library through this app. And you can do Bible studies. You can look at the Bible and have pages side by side so that you can actually do some studying. There's guides and courses and all kinds of amazing things in here. So if you love the idea of having a digital Bible study, but you do not want to go through the process of setting it up, then I highly recommend you check out 𝗏𝗏𝗏. I will have the affiliate link that I have for them in the description box, or you can just Google their name. Anyways, I hope that was helpful for you guys, and I will see you in the next one.